Good evening. It's Friday, January 25th, 2024 at 11 p.m. and we are continuing our playthrough of The Hidden Listener by Cozy Killer. We're up to episode 7. Last night's stream was devoted entirely to reading through Lizzie Phillips' diary. A very impressive facsimile document. We were discussing it in the comments of the YouTube video from last night, how it was very engaging, didn't seem to hold too many mysteries for us to solve. There are a couple of codes in here, and that's what we're going to spend the start of today's stream doing, trying to break those codes, and then hopefully we'll get into the next box of the game. Let me check in with the chat, see how everyone's doing. Susanna has joined us. So it should go without saying that you should be caught up. You should have watched the previous 6 episodes if you're planning on joining us today. Otherwise, none of it will make sense. And furthermore, if you think you might want to play this game yourself, you might be better off not watching any of these streams until you play through the game and then watching it. However, it is a very expensive game, out of the reach of most of us. I did purchase it myself. It wasn't easy to pull the trigger and push the purchase button, but I thought for the sake of this channel, we'll splurge and see what it's like. And I've talked about in the beginning, one of the extra motivations for doing that is that there are basically no reviews out there of Cozy Killer games. Not that I can find. There are maybe 4 series in this, 4 different storylines by Cozy Killer. They're all like $400 to $500. They're all 12 part. There's one little exception. There's one short prologue case about Virginia Steele, who's a character in one of their things, and you can get the 3-box series of that for $150. It's very expensive. There are occasional little reviews of the first couple boxes of one of the series. I think it tends to be Inheritance of Murder, and I believe that's because Cozy Killer sent out the first 3 episodes to some reviewers for free. And so you get a little bit of, occasionally you'll find a couple blogs talking about the beginning of this case, but beginning of one of these series, reviewing it, but no full reviews. And I think one of the things we can do is when we finish playing this, we are going to have a very detailed discussion and review of it. So far, it's been curious, a mixed bag, I would say. Yesterday's episode was my favorite, and I think you have to give credit to Joanna Smedley for this kind of document. I mean, this is about as serious a document of writing, as large, a dense a document as we've seen. We have seen one more diary like this when we played through The Messenger, but the writing was very good, very well done, and very engaging from a storyline. But other boxes have not had quite the same feeling. It is cipher code heavy. And I think we're all sort of keeping our powder dry in terms of our overall thoughts. They have been mixed in terms of engagement. But I am curious to hear your thoughts when we finish it. So I hope you will join me for the whole thing and then join me for a discussion of what you thought of the case and post your comments on the YouTube video if you don't play it live, but you do play it afterwards. All right. Anything else to discuss before we get started here? I don't really have anything else to say. I will remind you that on Sunday we'll have our 3rd episode in our Dear Holmes series, which is the Stolen Relic. And we may play this again tomorrow night, Saturday night. That will depend on the length of the stream and the schedule of everyone else here on the channel. I wouldn't mind having a short stream, but maybe we'll see how far we get tonight and see if it's a good break point. All right, so let's put aside the next box. Let's crack the codes from yesterday's diary. There were 4 inserts. There are no coded messages in the diary itself that we noticed, but there were 4 inserts, 4 things they found in the diary. Okay, let's look at them for a second. Oddly, the first 2 here seem to be redundant information. And furthermore, they seem to be the key for a cipher that we already solved in box 3. That was this sewing knitting cipher. We noticed at the time that the numbers go from 1 to 5. There's K's, there's P's, and then there are some weird ones, ink and what looked like tag. We brute forced it as a substitute cipher. We had some insight that the end of one word probably said stop at the end of each message. We found that a couple times. Eventually, we got to something like this, treating it like a pure substitution cipher. I say we brute force it, but that's not really the right term. We used constraint satisfaction, knowing the frequency of letters in English. The most common tag seemed to be K1, so we mapped that to an E. We found word breaks by, there's the stop word. The stop word not only gave us 4 letters that can translate, like all the S's or P3s, but it also gave us a couple word breaks. At that point, we could see word breaks weren't being explicitly encoded, but this did help us. We had some doubles. We had a bit of a typo that we think is here. So anyway, we broke this code. It was quite enjoyable, satisfying to do. That was in box 3. Now box 7 comes around and we notice, okay, well, here's a 5x5 grid of letters with I and J sharing the same cell. That's a Polybius cipher. That means every letter is encoded by a pair, a number on this axis, and a code on this axis, code on this. And that turns, this is this. So K4 is the K column and the 4. So that's an I or a J. And K1, which is our E, is right here. And in fact, this may be in order of, or I didn't notice this at first, but is this in order of letter frequency in English? Approximately? Where's our list of frequency? I think it is now that I look at it. So here's our list of frequencies with X, Q, J, and Z at the end. Well, J had to be put up here, but X, K, B, and G, yes, I think that's what we've got here. So a Polybius square cipher means you fill the alphabet in this grid, you reference everything by the row and column. The clue for this was common letter, but now I see why. It's not, normally you would arbitrarily fill this grid, but I can see now that it's been filled in order of frequency of letters. The most frequent is up here, the least frequent is down here. Okay, so there's that. So this we don't need because we solved that, but we are going to keep it handy. And then oddly, this one seems to be completely redundant with this. E-A-R-I-O-T, E-A-R-I-J-O-T with Q at the end. So it's strange that this exists. It seems to be redundant. On the other hand, there is this line right down the middle. So it's possible that there's some other use of this in a different way. Like maybe you're folding this in half and mapping A's to Z's. I don't know, but at the moment, we don't really feel like we need this. And the order that we're given these doesn't seem to make a difference. Okay, so we've got that. And now we've got two more coded messages that are not explained where they came from. They both have drops on them that kind of look like they might be blood. Now, let's leave this one aside for a second. This one looks like it's using this code again. So let's just make sure we've got K's and P's, numbers from 1 to 5, and there's an ink, and then there's a TOG, which is our KTOG and PTOG. So this is a PTOG, and this is a KTOG. Okay, so let's go and decode this message, which is in the same cipher that we used in box 3. Okay, K4 is an I or a J. Where's my other pen? Okay, K4 is either an I or a J. And then 5 ink is H. And then 2K is A. 2P is N. No, sorry, it's not 2P. It's 2PTOG. 2PTOG is V. Okay, 1K, that's an E. 3K is an R. Next line is 1 ink, which is a U. Next line is 4P, which is an L. Where's a little marker so I can keep track? 4P is an L. Then 1K is our E. And 4 ink is an M. 5K is an O. I have rule. Okay, let's keep going. That was our 5K. Next line is 1 ink, which is a U. And then a 1P, which is a T. 3K tog, which is an F. She's ruled. I think this must not be an M. This must be a D. I have ruled out. She's ruling out more people. Okay. So what is she ruling out? We got 3K tog, then a 3K and a 1K. So RE. This is someone's name. I have ruled out. Okay, next line is 2 ink, which is RD. Then 3K, which is R. 4K, 5P, which is I, C, 4K. Did I get that right? R 5 5. Feels like I did this wrong. This is O P5 is a C, and then ink 1 is a U, and then I see I'm starting to get things in the wrong order. It's hard to read off the screen and the paper at the same time. Okay, the number comes first. So there was our 3K, which is our R, then our 4K, which is our I, J, Then comes our 5P, which is our C. Then comes our 5 Inc, which is our H. And then comes our 1 PTOG, which is our K. Next, last line is 3K and then 1 Inc. So R E R U 1 K tog, which is our G, and then 1 K, which is our E, and 3K, which is our E R. Okay. So it looks like I've probably got some typos here. I have ruled out Frederick Krueger. Frederick Krueger. Okay, good. Frederick Krueger. All right, so that's going to be one of the people on our list. I'm afraid he's not on our list in our notes, but he's on one of our lists of people. He's not in our initial reassignment notes, but we've gotten lots of documents over time. You can see here I transferred our list of interesting dates in the diary, but somewhere we have our list of people. Let's see if we can find it. People at working for Lizzie, maybe in box 5. Yes. Okay. No. So these are people working in M House, but Friedrich Krueger must be one of the generals. I'm not sure we've made a list of those. I think she must be talking about one of the generals. All right, well, let's put this aside. That's our first code. Maybe I'll add a little note here. This is still box 6. Okay, we're going to call this the code is I have ruled out Does anyone remember seeing Frederick Krueger's name? Friedrich Krueger's name, and where we saw that? This is our box 6 knitting code. I don't remember where we've heard of Frederick Krueger, if we have. DJ Moneycut says, the list you looked at was the Jasmine list. What about the list with Goose? I think that's still... The list with Goose is this list up here. Box 4, we got a list of people reassigned to M Room. That was Goose Feltz. So there's no Friedrich Krueger. I'm not sure. Now, the diary mentions a bunch of people, and in fact, we did make note of when we found each cipher. So the list that we just decoded was from May 31st. If you want to see if perhaps there's something near May 31st talking about the different generals or Frederick Krueger. I don't see it though. She is talking about Jasmine, Project Jasmine. But we do have some lists of the generals, and maybe he's one of them. All right, let's not worry about that for now. Might we confirm it's the same handwriting? My gut is that it is. Certainly seems to be. For what that's worth. Okay, so let's put this aside. Let's work on our next code. Okay, what have we got here? So this is a little unusual. What clues do we have looking at this? First of all, you could ask, is this a key like this, or is it a message? Well, the first suggestion that it's a message is that we've got duplicate symbols. We also don't have the full 26. It's almost 26, so that would be another reason to think it might be a key, but it's not. It's 24 letters. All right, we've got a couple common ones here. This little B comes up a lot, so you might guess that that might be an E. But then there's 3 W's, W, W, W. Now, we've seen Lizzie use a 17 Caesar cipher. Might it be a 17 Caesar cipher? Where's our Caesar cipher? Now we have got these new cogs that suggest maybe a more complicated cipher, but maybe since the previous one, since this used an old cipher, maybe this does as well. So our 18 Caesar cipher went from, depending on which order you want to go in. Did it go R to B? Is that what it was? River Bunny. That would make, let's see. That would give us O to Y, B to L. That doesn't seem right. L to V. That seems wrong. What about other direction? O to E, B to R, L to B. That doesn't seem right either. Well, if you guess that there's 4 B's, so if the B was an E, let's just see here for a second. If our inner goes to our outer, then you could say, okay, B is going to go to E. I don't know. Normally, what's the convention? Is it outer to inner or inner to outer? Okay, if the B, the most common letter here, it looks like was our E, then we'd go outer to inner. Let's just experiment here, and then we'll get out the gears if we have to. Okay, so B is our E, and it is a Caesar cipher. No reason to really think that, but that would be R, E, O. What is this? What is this? What letter is this? Something. Then B would be another E, S, V, R, U. And then a double F seems unlikely. All right, well, that certainly doesn't look like it's that. That's the word. Okay. What are other possibilities? So it's also possible that it's using this. Okay, if it was that instead of a Caesar cipher, we've got O to M, B to A, L to U, something to something. B to A, S to F, R to B, C to R, R, E to A, E to J, W to V. That's already very suspicious since there's so many W's. There shouldn't be so many V's. The coded letters would be the bottom, I think. Well, okay, yes, we'll try that this way now too. I think that's right. But you're right. It would make sense that the codes would be on the bottom. Okay, so A goes to F. B goes to R. L goes to J. I don't know what this letter is. No one in the channel has chimed in what they think it is. K. E goes to R. S goes to I. R goes to C. This almost looks like it's saying Friedrich again. Where did I end up here? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're down at the C. K, K. Then we said B goes to R. E goes to A. W is from U. F is S. Friedrich Krauss. Looks like that's what this is. This must not be a... That's a weird thing. Okay. So KKRAUS. There's our L, which is our J. It feels like maybe something's off here with the L's. Like maybe I'm misreading that. Maybe that's not an L. S goes to I. F is our S. B is our R. Is this the same message? Is that what's happening? Ruled out. Is she saying it? Okay, so we'll discuss what the idea here is. But I believe what we're looking at is RUL and L. We're doing this as a J, but really all the J's are E's, right? This is an E, this is an E, this is an E. Then we know how to translate this. It's going to be whatever a D mapped to. So this is actually an I. Ruled, and then that would be a D2, which would make complete sense. And then this is going to be OUT, right? OUT. Okay, Frederick Krauss is ruled out. Same. Well, did I mistranslate this one? Frederick. I've ruled out Frederick Ruger. I have ruled Frederick Krauss is ruled out. So they're not saying the same thing. What does this suggest to you? Let's assume we haven't mistranslated it. And the first message says, I have ruled out Frederick Krueger. And the next message says, I have ruled Frederick Krauss is ruled out. What does that tell you? Could be two different people, says Perry. Susanna says two Germans. And Jonathan Warner says what I was thinking. They've come to the conclusion that the spy's first name is Frederick. That's the logical conclusion, I think. That's the suggestion here. Like, why are they ruling out two Fredericks if not for the idea that they think the first name of the spy is Frederick? Look how wonderful the chat, how that worked out in the chat. First, first Perry says two different people, and then Susanna says, two Germans, and then Jonathan says, we can even go finer than that, two Fredericks. Anna says, yep, seems like the spy is Frederick. Well, that's a good news because we're hoping it's not Carl. So let's add, assuming that we haven't mistranslated any of that. It seems unlikely that we would mistranslate it in a way to get those two things. Box 6. What code are we calling this? Small note code. Frederick Krause is ruled out. I'm not sure we have any Fredericks, but and Tina says something reminds us that when I asked you, you said the Russian spy is not German. That's what they concluded. They concluded the spy is not German. Let me just remind you, though, we've got two people that we're looking for. One is the spy, who's different from the killer. So, these could be two different people, or Frederick could be a Russian name. Seems like it is a German name, though. I agree with you. But we don't know. I guess if these are messages to Penny, you would expect them to be talking about the spy. But on the other hand, she didn't send these messages to Penny. So we don't know why these messages are in the diary. Anna says, could still be Frederick's real name is, Carl's real name is Frederick. We don't know. We don't know. But we have deciphered those messages fairly cleanly, which is nice. And we did not make use of this. That's correct, right? This isn't our... This is a completely different code than this one. Yes. Okay. And it says, or Friedrich could be the spy's code name. It's true, but then they're saying they've ruled out people by their real names. So we don't know. And in fact, we don't know, we don't have our German list of generals, which I really would like. I'm pretty sure we've seen one. It's shame on us for not keeping better records. But let us go through quickly before we return to our... Tell you what, let's do. Let's go to our people notes. Okay. Possible spies from the list of transfers. So I didn't write down what box that was, but I do think what we might do is, if we're not going to transcribe this entire thing here, let's at least keep track for our notes. We have a list of Jasmine employees in document in box 5. So at least it's a little easier for us to find these things. That was our box 5 document. And now other names. Let's see if there are any other documents with names. Okay, so here's someone that is not in our other list. So let's put that in. Is this what I want? Yes. Okay. So I'm going to say Anna Meyer, unless she's in the other list. This is our Jasmine employee box 5. We should be doing a better job of keeping our list of people. Ah, here we go. Here's our general list. No Friedrichs on this. Oh, well, we shouldn't say that. No, we don't know their first names. Do we have a Kraus or the other one? No, we don't. Okay, well, let's make sure we don't forget this list, though. Generals list at Jasmine. Box 5. Okay, maybe we put these together instead of worrying about putting these in order. Let's get our list of people together. Okay, so this is quite a useful list. In fact, maybe we'll just try to keep these together. And since Anna is not on this list, let me get her here too. So we're seeing people coming in and out of Project Jasmine. So let's keep these together. Okay. And maybe that will help us. So we don't know our Friedrichs. We might have to go through the diary again at some point to see if any of them are mentioned, but okay, so and then I scanned and printed bigger copies in case we needed them, but we don't. We haven't used this. Okay, so last bit of note taking. Since we haven't used that, let's go out and put on our to-do list the Lizzie Phillips double logs, since we don't know how to use that yet. Okay. Chat says, the killer and the spy can't be prisoners, can they? They need to be free to move around. Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. That's a very good point. Another thing to consider is we don't know. She's talking about ruling people out. We assume she's talking about ruling people out for being the spies, but she doesn't really say. It's possible she was talking about the victims. Perry says, hey, you missed something. There was a Kruger on the last page. There was? On the last page, please, when you say something, give me the full sentence, because by the time you say it, I don't know what box I was reading. Okay, where did you see a Kruger on the last page? The last page of what? Could our spy be a censor? Just a reminder, when you make a comment on YouTube, because it will be so long until I see your comment, You have to tell me the whole context. You have to say, there's a Kruger on the last page of this document. All right, let's see. I saw the name Kruger as a Mr. and Mrs. on the last sheet you looked at before closing the sheets. Well, do you mean this page? This was the last page that I looked at in this box. Do you mean the last page as I was putting away these? No, there's nothing from there. Do you mean the last page of the items I put together? No, there's nothing there. So you don't mean that. This was the last page of this document. Suppose we can walk through this whole thing. The postcard was sent to a Mr. and Mrs. someone. Let's see, what was the postcard sent to? Okay, good catch by Anna. That our postcard was sent to Mrs. Kruger. This is our code message, right? This is her saying she's in Germany. I am alive and well in Germany. To Mrs. Kruger. That's weird. Let us make some notes about this on our box 5 while we're doing that. Friedrich Kruger. Okay, I'm just going to make a note here. Mr. and Mrs. Kruger from box 1, alive and well in Germany. See if we can find this other mention that Perry saw. Third party discovered. Here's Penny going out with her person named Rupert, wondering if it could be a censor. I don't see the other spotting that Perry thought Kruger versus Kruger. Well, either way, if you see a Kruger, let me know. Close enough. I don't see it, but so that we don't forget, let me make a note. Some document mentions. I think you saw it in box 5. Don't know though. Harry says, I see a slight difference in spellings, Kruger versus Kruger. What you mean by that is, to fill in the detail, you're saying that you see a difference in spelling between what we decoded and the postcard. Are you talking about now? Because I don't see any difference in spelling on the postcard and what we decrypted. So, Perry, what are you talking about? Different spelling. Kruger in the cipher and Kruger on the postcard. Is that right? Is there an E in the postcard? I don't see it. No, it's spelled the same. There's no key, K-R-U-E, and here, K-R-U-G-E-R. It's spelled the same on the postcard and the cipher. But we still haven't found any other Kruger. That's all right. We all make mistakes. It's very odd that the name on the postcard, which we don't know who she's talking about, would happen to be Kruger also. What about this? Is this where you might have seen it? Well, we may have to give it up. Jonathan is looking for it, but that doesn't seem to have found it. So we've made a note to reinvestigate it. Maybe we'll find it at some other point. Let's not kill ourselves trying to find it. I don't think we looked at any other documents. I don't think I opened this one this session. I will skim it, see if we have any other people to add to our list. Did we note this detail about Gretchen gone missing 23rd September? Where's our timeline? How is it that we don't have this stuff in our notes? Last seen visiting Chalfont. Why do we not have this? All right, well, let's put it in. Better late than never, I guess. 1943, September 23rd, Gretchen last seen. It's pretty significant. I'm not sure what that's a very important date for us to know about, because the person who kidnapped or killed her would have to be available in September. Where is our list of Carl's alibis? So in my notes, 23rd of September is a comment about Mila and Nina, and then Carl on the September 13th. Let me just see what that note meant about September 13th, because I didn't really make a good note of it. So what have we got here? Carl was off duty September 13th. His family are from Kolblang originally, is what I put in my notes. So let me just clarify this comment about Carl and Kolblang. Carl's family is from Kolblangs. Okay, and now September 23rd, because this is when Gretchen is last seen. Let's just make a little look here. Apple. I left an apple at Carl's desk. He'd be finished in the interrogation rooms tomorrow. So here's a note. Gretchen is last seen September 23rd, and Carl is going to be out of the interrogation rooms on the 23rd. And then here she is talking about Jasmine House on the 23rd. So I'm just going to make a note in our files here that Gretchen is last seen on September 33rd, and Carl is out of rooms, so he's free. Okay, Jonathan says, I never spotted the Kruger on any typed documents in the past stream, but maybe I just missed it as well. All right, well, maybe Perry saw something, maybe Perry imagined it, we don't know. We'll certainly remember, it's on our to-do list. And it says, Gretchen's disappearance was a year earlier. Yes, you're right. I got that completely wrong. Gretchen's disappearance was a year earlier. You are completely right. It's not 1943 that she's gone missing. It's 1942. Thank you. Yikes. Completely. Okay, so actually we do have an entry of Gretchen goes missing. But we should say this is actually 23rd, question mark, 29. Okay, so this was completely wrong. It was a year earlier. Thank you. That's a big difference. Gretchen goes missing. And last seen September 23rd, Chalfont. And then if we're smart, we'll put where we got that information from, which is box 4. John says, Percival went missing the same year as Gretchen. Am I remembering that correctly? According to our note, it says they found Percival in June of 1943, but he went missing before Gretchen. That's our note. All before Lizzie came to work. Yes, I didn't write, we don't have down in our notes how we know when he went missing, but according to our notes, he went missing before Gretchen even. Anything else to Anna says it was before Lizzie came to Latimer. I don't know if she's talking about Jonathan's question or the original just follow-up about Gretchen missing. But yes, it is true that Gretchen disappeared before Lizzie came to Latimer. And our notes say that Percival went missing even before Gretchen went missing. All right. Let's file all this away in our box 6. Let's take our little break and come back and open up box 7. I'll see you in 8 minutes. All right, we're back. Let me catch up with the chat because there's an interesting discussion going on. DJ says, right now we think the spy and the killer are different people, so what is the killer's motive if not related to spying? Anna says, maybe Peter, Gretchen's boyfriend, killed Raper, but G found out, killed her too. There's a third body, ground worker. Maybe he dug up Raper, so he had to die also. Perry says, if we assume the spy and the killer are the same person, we have to ask why they killed all three. Jonathan says, there could always be a German spy and a Russian spy, I suppose, but no real evidence of that. And I think DJ Moneycut was saying the other thing that I was thinking is that the reason we're so convinced that the spy is different from the killer is the Russian spy message, which we decoded as found a dead shuttle on the territory. I did not want the investigation to threaten my position here. I buried the body where I think no one will find it. We read that to be, I found a dead body on the territory. I did not want the investigation. So he found a body. That means it's not him. But if we actually have mistranslated this word, then is it possible? It would have to be like this whole sentence. I guess if you wanted to say that they're the same person, you'd have to say that this is saying something different. Like, what if he said, I killed someone on the territory? I did not want the investigation to threaten my position, so I buried the body where I think no one will find it. So if we very much mistranslated this first sentence and it really says, I killed someone, then that completely changes our theories, and now the spy and the killer are the same person. But it seems very unlikely because we could go into this. I have this in digital form. Maybe we can experiment a little bit more. But this really seems like the word found a dead something on the territory. So if he's found it, then he's not the killer. I do like the idea better that Gretchen is killed because, remember, Gretchen has diaries and someone has stolen the diaries. That suggests that she saw something or knew something that someone didn't want to get out. She was dating Peter, so it makes sense to me that Peter is the killer. He killed Gretchen, or the stalker of Gretchen. Remember, Gretchen thought she was being followed. So it wouldn't surprise me if Gretchen knew something, saw something, and was killed for that reason. And then the other murders are related to that. But, all right, let's put on our to-do list to investigate the translation to make sure, check Russian translation, to make sure that we didn't get that wrong. Jonathan says, Percival went missing before Gretchen. It's true. If that's true, then Gretchen wasn't the first. Gretchen found out something, so she was killed. Maybe Gretchen found out about the first murder. What did designers have in mind with the Russian note that we find a native speaker? Well, that's not a bad idea to try to find a native Russian speaker to look at that note. Maybe they would spot typos a little bit better. All right, but let's table all that. Let's open our next box here. This one says, caution contains citrus. What is that supposed to mean? Why is there citrus in a box? And how old is it? Remember that these are meant to be delivered to you once a month, but mine got sent all at once maybe a year ago, so... Okay. Whoa, it's another wheel. This is looking more like the theory that we're building an Enigma machine here. All right, let's see what we've got here. I don't see any citrus. During the last month, another small cog has been discovered in the box files of the archives, along with the documents enclosed. The team at the archives believed the postcard wasn't cut by the censors, but was rather sent like this. They believe it could form part of a grill cipher for another letter or postcard. They were also able to identify a personal letter of correspondence addressed to Elizabeth Phillips, which I have enclosed. The researchers are continuing their work in the National Archives, and they believe they may have located another diary from 1944. We are working to obtain permission to send this to you. Okay, this is what the chat thought, that we might get the next year's diary from Lizzie. Another full diary. That's pretty impressive. All right, 13 photocopied documents, 1 letter, 1 postcard, and 1 cog. Wow, another diary. That is serious. Okay, let's open it up. I don't know what this citrus is. Smell is interesting. Okay, so someone is using the postcards, the same postcard as before, but it's a grill. It's a grill cipher. You put it over something and you read the words inside. Okay. Letters and documents. All right. Let's see what we've got here. So another cog. I guess we could put all the cogs together. Let's just take a look at this. So here's our earlier one, and here's this one. How is this different? It's not. A through Z. This one is this one is this, but it's otherwise looks like it's going to be identical. Otherwise identical, but that doesn't mean you wouldn't do them all. Very interesting. This does feel like we're going to be building a little encryption machine. All the same size, same number of gears. Okay. Now look at this. This is something that one has to learn to get good at. This says it comes with a cog. That says it comes with a cog, but if you're not careful, you're not going to remember what cog came with what in what box. A little bit of a splinter there. So let us make a note of that here. So our box 7 is the cog 000 dash 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 dash. Okay. All right. Let's walk through it then. It's a postcard. Where's our first box? So who is at NE19? That's Carl. Dear Carl, I know you're worried. Is this goes over this? Yep. So look, they're both to the same address. This one's to Carl. But this is a grill for this. You know what we may find here? That this is a fake letter. That she hasn't broken up with Carl. All right, this is very exciting. All right, here we go. I know you are worried. Neely, I am with H, have left Latimer. We depart soon. Plans are in place. I wish I could have seen you again. Perhaps we will meet again one day. Can someone explain this part to me, though? Is she... I assume she's still writing to Carl, but why is she... Why is this... I know you are worried. Neely? I am with H. We think that's going to be that general that she's been spending time with. That's what she's part of some plan. I think the habit. I think that makes sense. I have left Vladimir. We depart soon. Plans are in place. I wish I could have seen you again. Perhaps we will meet again one day. I'm confused about this. Doesn't it? It seems like it's more likely that she's saying, I am with Neely. But then she says, I have left Latimer. We depart soon. I'm a little confused about this. So is she writing to Neely? Then why is she saying, perhaps we will meet again one day? It sounds like a little romantic. That's why it's a little weird. But maybe it's not romantic. This is a letter to Neely, says Anna. All right, so it does make sense that any 19 seems like it might be Neely rather than Carl. All right, so the great news is that she's not really breaking up with Carl, it seems. Look, Neely is mentioned. Neely had it all planned and worked out. I'm sure you remember her. Always the one to prepare. I know you are worried, Neely. I am with Habich, is what we think. Have left Latimer. We depart soon. Plans are in place. I wish I could have seen you again. Perhaps we will meet again one day. This just does not feel like the way you would write to your friend. I wish I could have seen you again. I just find that weird, but I agree. On balance, it seems like she's writing to Neely. All right, well, the good news is, I guess that means we have no reason to think that she's on bad terms with Carl. Well, maybe the other letters will make more sense of it. All right, so we've got one letter, and then we've got documents. So let's read our letter here. Okay, it's to Lizzie about Project Ezekiel. Who's writing it? Penny. 11 February 1943. Hi, Lizzie. Eek. I don't need to be stood next to you to see your stubborn face. Now, all I can say is Carl is a braver man than I gave him credit for. Thought it would be safer for all if he gave in first. And if he doesn't, then my thoughts are probably isn't the man for you. Everyone knows you're independent and strong-willed. You never ran from a fight at school. So if you don't think you've done anything unexpected or wrong, then he'd best apologize, because you certainly won't let it go. He may as well be arguing with Churchill. Even Rupert and me have had the odd spat, but thankfully we don't smolder for long, and we take it in turns to apologize. Oh, I must tell you, there's a wedding here next weekend. One of the something girls from the typing pool is marrying one of the guys from one of the huts. Rumor has it that there's a reason for the wedding coming around so quickly. I'm determined not to be caught out that way. Maybe they're talking about getting pregnant. So she had a fight with Carl, huh? Thought it, though it would be safer for all if he gave in first. If he doesn't, he isn't the man for you. I mean, we have these diary entries. We could find out what she's talking about from the diary. If you don't think you've done anything unexpected or wrong, he best apologize. What are they talking about? Where's our diary? February 11th. Briefed Carl and the two men in my room. Neely asked me if I'd planned for the weekend. We're both off. There's a dance. She wondered if I should go. My last day listening. My feet are sore from dancing. No cards. I wasn't expecting any. Carl's back from leave. I'm no longer covering his room. Neely says he sounds tired. What the hell is this talking about then? Isn't the letter from 944? No, it's from 1943. That's weird. It's not in code, is it? EATMERULEDOUT. Eat me. Eat me ruled out. Eat me ruled out. EATMERULEDOUT. It's a coded message. That eek was the giveaway. So here's Penny to Lizzie, February 11, 1943. She says EATMERULEDOUT. But what is eat me ruled out? Don't forget the H. Heat me, ruled out. Heat me, maybe we put this under heat. And we're going to see something. In fact, I can see, look, can you see how it's like there's some liquid applied to this? You can see there's a message that was written in here. In fact, I can almost read it. Heat me, ruled out. So when we heat this, we're going to, or put it to whatever, we're going to get someone's name and they're going to be ruled out. Let's keep reading here though. Not that we're discussing marriage yet, but I know that Rupert takes oaths like that seriously and wants to wait and do it properly, to have and hold, to love and to cherish, and we can discuss obedience when we have to, when we've got to that part. I'm happy to wait too. We aren't quite like everyone else. I don't have to worry about him being shot down or shot. Realistically, we have time to do it properly. Okay, what have we got here? Nother. Another. Ruled out. And then there's an A here. Ruled out another. Okay, so they've ruled out another person. We're going to heat this to see who this is. I would really like to avoid damaging this because at $400, $500, I'd like to be able to trade it. And we kind of see what this says. It looks like it's just here. It looks like Louis Frisk. Is there a way to do this without heating it? What is the... Almost make it out. I'm not totally opposed to putting a flame in it, but I'd really rather not. It looks like it's this way. It looks like LUD Frisks or something. Friskus. Try a flashlight or black light. It's just down here, I can see. Maybe we can... Looks like it might say Ludo. Banning your set lights hot enough to not make it appear just by holding it near. I mean, I do have a... Petiol says maybe it's a Jansen. Where are our list of names? Do we have anyone named Ludo? Or Lulo? Rudolph, you think it is? I don't see Rudolph. I just see Lou. Okay. So I think this might be something like Ludo something. It's not going to help us at this moment. So let's put it off. Maybe we can pull out that comment. Definitely feels like it's this way. Maybe we can find a way to pull that out without actually heating it. Where was our list of people? So far, we're getting people ruled out that are not even... Here's our workers. I don't see anyone that would fit that name. So let us, can you smell the citrus on the paper where it was written? No, I can't. All right, well, let's not worry about it for now. We will come back to it. We will come back to it. In fact, we will put it on our to-do list so we don't forget. And call this the lemon heat letter. Ruled out. Another. Okay. We might want to check Penny's other letters to make sure she's not got more codes, more acrostic codes down the bottom, down the length of the page. All right, and now we've got a whole bunch of documents. Let us walk through them. I'm not going to sort them by date like I've been doing, since that doesn't seem to be the most useful thing. Maybe we're going to get Kruger's. Maybe we're going to get Ludo's now. Let's see. Operation Mess Pot. What's Operation Mess Pot? A series of operations intended to deceive German forces related to invasion strategy is underway. Please flag any transcripts related to distribution of German forces and all reactions to Allied invasion plans for LCS as soon as it is received. Lieutenant Colonel John Bevan. Alert Kendrick and arrange transport. M. Okay. January 1943. Okay. These look like the documents we're going to get today are mostly about different operations. Okay. Here's a document about Project Ezekiel. Remember, we were wondering, what exactly is Project Ezekiel? Let's see. Important we keep Project Ezekiel small. Suggest we limit membership to 2 at each site. Whoa, Gretchen. It's Gretchen's operation. At Latimer House, Gretchen Meyer. She is within the M-Room team itself and will therefore naturally associate with lower-ranking personnel. She is fluent in both Russian and German. Catherine Townsend, whoa, the top person at this camp, already aware of the project and briefed in a supervisory capacity. Townsend has access to higher-ranking individuals. At Trent Park, we have Elliot Bruger, one of the listeners trusted within the team there, and Tanya Harris, secretarial support to various sections, regularly in and out of a variety of offices, and her presence will go unremarked. And at Bletchley Park, we've got Jocelyn Webb, access to multiple huts, and Daniel Knox in Hut 8, possibly the most sensitive hut on the site. He will recognize any sensitive information. Wow. So Ezekiel is something that Gretchen, our dead, disappeared woman, was involved in. May 1942. We still don't know what it is, but it looks like it's very important. 2 people at each site, so they're connected. Maybe it's their. This may be the project to find a spy. Because look, she's fluent in both Russian and German. It's something to do with Russian. All right. Here's Project Fortitude. 1944. We're jumping around here. Transcript from room J2. M83 says, "You are keeping busy, Fräulein? There must be new generals all the time. We must spread ourselves out," says Ilsa. "Not too thin, I hope. There are other men. Do they treat you as well as I do?" This may be... it's not Jasmine. It's something else. "Of course not. You are a gentleman, General Faber. and a stallion of superior breeding. Ah, you flatter me, but perhaps you have had limited comparison. Elsa says, perhaps I need to ride a few more German horses before I make a decision. Ah, you will have some soon enough, I fear. This war is going badly. It will only be a matter of time before the Allies invade. You think so? Yes. But we will be ready for them. There will be such loss of life. The harbor at Calais will run red with the blood of men from both sides. You tire of the war. I tire of the waste. Okay, so J2, that might be Jasmine House. So this woman is sleeping with M83. We might know who that is from our records. It's General Faber. All right, maybe we need to start keeping track of this information. M83 is General Faber. What's happening here? He's saying the war is going badly. The Allies are going to invade. And then he says, we're going to be ready for them. The harbor at Calais will run red with the blood of men from both sides. Okay. And then she may be trying to feel him out to see whether he would turn to be on their side. Oh, here is another Fortitude. This one was Fortitude February 94. This is March. There's a little piece of tape here too. From Colonel Kendrick to S. Menzies. Have briefed Karl Neumann into Fortitude as agreed. He's aware this will require a serious level of commitment on his part to live as one of the POWs for a protracted period of time. However, he is confident he can pass as a senior German rank officer and work alongside General Habich to convince General von Enns of the plans. Well, this is pretty serious. First of all, is this the first time we know Carl's last name? Because this is definitely our Carl. Neumann. And it sounds like General Habich might be working with them. Operation Jasmine is managing a seaside picnic for the generals. Transport for this activity will drive along roads lined with military vehicles and past our dummy depot, tanks and planes. We will moor landing craft just off the coast, visible from the picnic spot. General von Enns will be part of this group. No mention will be made of military buildup by anyone in the team. C. Townsend and E. Phillips are devising a method of escape through the tunnel at Latimer, and Townsend is arranging for vehicle depot to be relocated to a more convenient site. Tunnel existence will be leaked via contacts at Jasmine under direction of Phillips. It is imperative that General von Enns believe he has significant intel and engineered his own escape. General Habich and Neumann will accompany him to the coast and ensure he reaches the channel successfully, whereupon we will engage Neumann and Habich so that von Enns is the only escapee. There is considerable risk to the plan as we cannot involve the wider coastal defenses. Neumann has been made aware of Home Guard and any other military positions along the route who could compromise the mission. If you approve, we will transfer von Enns to Latimer House on the 18th of March and begin the operation. Wow. Operation Fortitude. This is serious. They're going to let von Enns escape. and think that he's figured out a way for him to escape. So they're going to send Carl and Habich, who must be working with them, to basically hang out with Von Enns. They've put things out for him to see. They're going to leak information about the secret tunnel, and they're going to let him escape. Think that he's come up with a way to escape. Then Carl's going to travel with him so that he's convinced that he's made it out. Whereupon we will engage Neumann and Haber so that Von Enns is the only escapee. I'm not exactly sure what this line is saying. Is it saying they're going to bring them back in at this point? Then they're giving Carl information so he won't get caught. Whew, okay, so Von Enns is target of Operation Fortitude Fake Escape with Carl and Habich. I think they're going to send Lizzie to escape with them. I wonder. Let me see what the chat thinks. John says, yeah, I read it that they're going to fake capturing Carl and Habich on the beach so that only the general with the false info escapes. Perry says, by this date, they're feeding the Germans false information about the invasion site. So you think, I see, that's why their whole point of this is to have him escape with false information. Is that right? I see. So your theory is that this is just to plant information. So he will escape with false information about where the attack is planned. That is very interesting. All right, let's keep going. Here's a follow-up letter about Fortitude 1 week later. From Colonel Kendrick to S. Menzies. Jasmine picnic date set for weekend of 8th of April, 1944. If weather bad, weekend following. All dummy units will be in position for that weekend. Escape plan for weekend of 29th April. Should give General Von Enns adequate time to reach the coast, cross channel, and make contact with his own forces to ensure Calais is reinforced before D-Day. So that is what they're doing. They're going to plant information about that Calais is the site for D-Day instead of the beaches of Normandy or something. All right, so they're going to have a picnic so that he can see his escape route, plan it out, and then they're going to actually plan the escape for 29 April. So they're going to have a picnic so they see I see. I think they're going to show him the troops that he's going to think are going to invade Calais or something. Is that what's happening here? They're going to drive him during the picnic so he can see the forces mounting for the attack on Calais, which is fake. And here they're just confirming the dates of that. Perry says the Germans actually did think, this is real history, that the invasion would be at Calais instead of Normandy. Okay. Dorian says, I tried to enhance the image of the watermark on the note. If you want me to put it in here, still a couple of unknown letters, but if it's not a spoiler, I can post it here. Yes, please do. It's not a spoiler. We figured out that you could see it. So absolutely. If you can't post it on YouTube, I don't know if YouTube will take an image like that, but our Discord, there's a link to the Discord on the About page. You can definitely post it there, and I'll see it during the next break. And I'll print it out. Okay, so this is very close to history and making sense here. Okay, here's another follow-up of Fortitude, April 8th. So this is the date of the picnic plan where they're going to try to convince him that they're building up forces to invade at Calais. You saw the tanks. I think they are preparing to land at Calais. You think the Fuhrer knows? Of course he knows. They must invade if they are to fight this war. It cannot be war, or it cannot be last in the sea, or cannot be lost in the sea or air only. We will be reinforcing along the coast now that winter is over. And you think we will be ready? Calais is the shortest crossing. It is the logical choice. We will not make it easy for them. Okay, so here they are talking. We know that M83 is Faber, but one of these is probably Van Essen. Essen, what's his name? Von Enns. Okay, one of these is, I guess, Von Enns, or it's designed to have Von Enns over here or something. Okay, Fortitude again, 15th of April. Here we go. They're talking again. You think General Neumann made a good choice? Elsa says, Ursula, I think he will be looked after. But not as well looked after as me. What do you think? I think he does not know what he is missing. This is much better. Elsa says, so you're feeling relaxed? As relaxed as I can't be as a prisoner. A prisoner? A guest, surely. They tell you this? No. It is a cage with a different type of door. That is all. You can't explore for yourself? We have some liberties. Okay, so they've got the girl prompting him. Hey, you can maybe get out of here. She's egging him on a little bit. Okay, it's continuing here. Do you wish to go again? No. Even I cannot do it again that quickly. Give me time, Fräulein. We have time, yes? All the time you need, General. This is an escape. An escape. Windows are painted shut, General, and it is a long drop to the street. That is not what I meant. What you need is a tunnel, you know. One of them other generals, he talked about a tunnel. How many generals do you see? Oh, not many, General, don't worry. None quite like you, but a girl must make ends meet. Not everyone pays as well. They pay you? Of course. Not much, though. General Ledebauer used to leave a tip. General Lebedor. Well, it was some time ago now. He's left Latimer House, I think. At least we don't see him anymore. I think what she's trying to suggest to him is like, you're not going to be able to hang out with me forever. They're going to stop bringing you here soon. So now, otherwise he might be like, oh, why escape? I got a good thing going here. I think she's trying to tell him, you don't have too much time with me. And it was he who spoke of a tunnel. Oh, maybe she's trying to say use the tunnel to escape. I think so, yeah. All these old houses in England, they have secret tunnels. Is Latimer an old house? It is very odd. Well, there you go then. You have been to many old houses? No, the old houses usually come to me. Come here, Fräulein. Let us see if I can explore your tunnel again. They're setting him up to make an escape. Oh, here we go. Operation Jasmine. I understand your reluctance to remove E. Phillips from her position at Jasmine House. However, we should not tolerate this type of insubordination, and an example must be set. I recommend you remove her from the operation and promote one of the women from the front of the house team to fulfill her role as madam. There is a vast throughput of generals at both Latimer House and Trent Park. It is likely the change will go unremarked. Even so, I would suggest we place Jasmine off limits to generals who have previously visited to avoid suspicion. This is Operation Jasmine. I understand there were extenuating circumstances. However, I will not tolerate this sort of behavior within my command. Her behavior could have compromised the mission in hand. We will deal with K. Neumann when he concludes his mission. Let us hope it's a success. So I think what we're looking at here is that Lizzie and Carl did something that put this in jeopardy. Maybe Lizzie told Carl, don't do it, don't go. Because they're going to send Carl on this mission. Maybe she tried to convince him not to go, or she did something that put it in jeopardy. So they've had the picnic. The escape is planned for the 29th. 25th comes around and he's furious. She has put stuff at risk. And Carl did so also, but they can't afford to spare Carl. Oh, Anna has a theory. Anna's theory is that they took Carl as a German to the house and he saw Lizzie as madam and lost it. Or vice versa. Lizzie saw Carl and didn't want him sleeping with one of the girls. And she lost it. Fortitude, 8th of April. Transcript from room 6 in Latimer House. G80 says, did you hear what the officers said at the roadblock? No. Were you close enough? Oh, here's Carl. Yeah. They are sending trucks this north. Or North Edinburgh, I think he said. This is Scotland, yes? Yes. They have several divisions in the north. They are rumors they will invade what? Norway? Yeah, Norway. Norwegian? Norway? It is what I have heard. They intend to split our resources. Is he hearing, is this not the planted information, but real information? Or is this planted information that they're planning? I guess it's Carl talking here. And they did plan for him to overhear stuff. I can't tell if this is planted information or not, though. Oh, look what we got. Okay, we finally got. Now look what's so fascinating. This is back now in time to 1942 with Gretchen's death. And look who's on our list. We've got an Ecker. We've got a Goose. We've got Kruger and Kraus. And there's our Ludo. So this is the document we've been waiting for. Operation Ezekiel. 12 individuals have been identified by the Ezekiel team as having the capability, language skills, and access needed for intelligence intercepted to date. These are the potential spies. As per recommendations, we're endeavoring to identify the mole without arousing suspicion in order to create counterintelligence program which could be of some value. In other words, they're hoping to identify the mole, and then they're going, if they can, they're going to plant fake intelligence they're going to let that mole find fake intelligence and use that. We have reason to believe the person may have counterintelligence training and could be dangerous. All participants in Operation Ezekiel have been cautioned and advised to take extreme care when investigating these individuals. Bletchley Park team have identified no intelligence which appears to originate from the site within the messages intercepted so far. It is our belief the individual must be based either in Trent Park or Latimer House. J. Webb and D. Knox remain involved to assist with decoding any messages intercepted. Wow. All right, so this is pretty fantastic. What a nice payoff. Okay, so let us do a little thing here so we can do a little markup if we want on this actual page. Okay, so Penny eliminated Kraus and Kruger. Penny or Lizzie? I can't remember. Okay, well, look who's on that list. Carl Neumann. Ouch. We know she eliminated Goose earlier. And then Penny with her lemon letter eliminated Ludo Jansen. Okay, so we don't need to. The lemon letter, we read it well enough to get this here. Now, our other note that we were trying to decode that we got Annie and Ecker, we must have mistranslated this T, but it was Anton Ecker. Okay, so let's look at what we've got here. There's Carl. We don't know who Joseph Kuipers is. We don't know who Stefan Wines is. We don't know Gunter Fischer. We don't know Albert Novak. We don't know James Ward. But Amelia Mazur is our Gretchen's friend. Right? Who gave us Gretchen's diaries. I believe that's her. There may be multiple Amelias. Let's go to our list for a second here. Boy, the plot is thickening. Notice there's no Peter, there's no Rupert, there's no Neely, there's none of that. Where is our, I guess we're going to have to make a note. Let me make a note here. I thought I had some worry that her last name was Meyer or something. So let me just put on our to-do list. Amelia, friend of Gretchen last name? Question mark. Is it Mazur? Petiol says Carl and Amelia are main suspects then, right? Since they're the only two we know. I guess that's right. Perry says just pointing out they're not, none of them are Russians. Anna says no, Peter's on the list, but I still suspect he's the killer, not the spy. Amelia seems awfully interested in us solving this case of Gretchen, though. Why would she do that if she's the killer? That seems very far-fetched. This is like the thing about, like, you don't call Sherlock Holmes into the case when you're the killer. Why would Amelia constantly be trying to get us to investigate Gretchen if she's the killer? April 2nd, Amelia says Gretchen's diary was taken. I just want to see if we can't get Amelia's last name. Amelia asked me if I'd taken Gretchen's diaries from her cupboard. I said I would never do such a thing. February 25th, we also had discussion with Amelia. Amelia works with the other girls in the recording room. We're going to have to find her Polish girl called Amelia. Polish girl called Amelia. I'm just going to put, going to make a note of that since we missed that before. A couple known motivations for spying are adrenaline or ego. Well, that's not likely the case here. Such people might draw attention to the case for the thrill of it. It's an interesting idea. John says, yeah, but the spy covered up one of the murder because they don't want to tighten security, so it seems odd they would want Gretchen's murder investigated even if they were not the killer. Yeah, that's a good point. Also, ideologically, the I, if they're frustrated at an issue internally, they might draw attention to it. That's interesting. So what is this MICE acronym? I've never heard of this. Is the MICE acronym an acronym about what is it? What is it referring to? The motivations for spying? You either do it because of money, ideology, ego. What's the C? Shouldn't there be, oh, ideology would be the nationalism. Is M for money? Money, ideology, E for ego. What is C? I've never heard this. 4 indicators that could lead to an asset development who would turn spy: money, ideology, compromise, compromat, of course, compromise. You got blackmail on someone. So they agree to spy. Okay, very good. Very good. I've never heard that. I like it though. In our knitting code, I think her name was decoded as Emily. Another typo. Yeah, that I think we may have a couple of Emilys or Amelia. Maybe we translated that E wrong, and maybe it was Amelia. Maybe that's a typo in our translations. Susanna points out there was only one Frederick. So much for our theory that it had to be a Frederick. I guess that was just a coincidence. Wow. Okay, this is pretty awesome. This development here we've got at the end of this, though. All right. Let's make a note so we don't lose this, that we've got our Ezekiel suspect list, box 7 document. Okay. Oh, God. Is it going to be Carl? I really hope not. All right, one more document for today's session. Here it is. Hold on. Chat's trying to get my attention. Check Jesse. Should we double check the knitting code message that mentioned Emily to make sure she's not eliminated? Who is the other Frederick Penny ruled out then? Okay, there's a little bit of confusion here. Should we check the knitting code? Yes. Was someone eliminated though? Could our spy be a censor? All right, I'm going to do one thing at a time. Okay, so we translated this message that we're fairly confident about, actually. That is a K1. That is absolutely an Emily. Emily says Gretchen's diaries have been taken. Okay, so this is a typo in the letter from Lizzie to Penny. She's absolutely talking about Amelia. There's no doubt about that, because this is exactly, she's just repeating what we read in the diary. But note, she's not clearing Emily. She is just telling us about the fact that Emily said the diaries have been taken, and we've got that exact discussion in the diary, so we know it's Amelia. It's just, it's not, it doesn't clear anyone. We might want to make a, let's do that. Let's make a note to ourselves on our to-do list. Make copy of suspect list with people ruled out. I think we've done a pretty good job of keeping track of that. I think, I believe this is a pretty accurate list of who's ruled out. I don't think we've ruled out anyone else. I think we've kept track, and I think this is our list of who's ruled out. So we've got Carl and Amelia, who we know. It seemed unlikely that Amelia would be trying to draw any attention based on what we know about the Russian spy, and that's certainly who they're looking for here. And then we've got some people we don't know. Petiol says, we can delete the lemon heat letter from our to-do list, right? Yes, since we know that was Ludo Jansing, yes. Penny ruled out 2 Fredericks. Where's the other one? I think what we're looking at in that case is, it's this one. It's actually Eric Kruger, not Frederick Kruger. Let's see if we can see why that may have been a mistranslation. First of all, maybe it's just his nickname here, but I think it's more likely that this is who's being ruled out. It's just, why did we decode that as Frederick Kruger? Let me see our notes here. So Frederick Krauss, that's here. Okay, so somehow we must have done this wrong. Or this is just his fuller name, Frederick Kruger. It must be that this is his full name, and somehow here it's being written as Eric Kruger. But it's clearly the same person because look, it's ending E-R-I-C-H. It's just somehow we have F-R-E-D. Frederick Eric. Clearly same person though. Okay. So yeah, the noose is tightening around our spy. But we still don't know about the murder. Okay, last message. Here we go. 17 June. So they've done the operation. Have they done the operation? Am I misremembering the month? It's April, right? Yeah, April. So they've already orchestrated the escape, I guess. Let's see. V1 rockets are causing considerable damage to London. There is a possibility we could instruct turned German agents to report losses north and west to encourage retargeting of rockets to the south and east. This would reduce casualties in central London. I am aware the War Cabinet refused to authorize a measure that will increase casualties in any area. However, we cannot wait until Churchill returns from his conference to make a decision. Garbo, Brutus, and Tate have all been asked to report on damage. If they do not respond soon, this could prove fatal to any deception we wish to make now or in the future. We have reports from Latimer House of new offensive rockets under construction. If they use similar targeting guidance systems and have the greater and destructive ability indicated by the generals, this may be our only chance to reduce casualties. Okay, let's see if we can understand this. V1 rockets are hitting London. He says we could use our spies to plant our German agents to plant fake information to get them to retarget to the south and east, which reduce casualties in London. Then he says, I know that the Churchill doesn't want to do that. And then he says, Garbo, Brutus, and Tate have all been asked to report on damage. They don't respond soon. This could prove fatal to any deception we wish to make now or in the future. I don't really understand that. Perry says, this is the last letters after. Chat says, June 6th was D-Day invasion. So this is after D-Day. I don't really understand this, though. Garbo, Brutus, and Tate, those sound like code names, have all been asked to report on damage. But if they don't respond soon, this could prove fatal to any deception we wish to make now or in the future. Are they asking about the spies that they've sent over? Are they talking now about Carl, Lizzie, or is that what's happening? Are they talking about the planted? But we didn't. The plan was not to send spies. The plan was just to have Von Ebbs go with bad information. What are they talking about here? Jonathan says, I think they're saying if they don't approve the false news reports and the real news goes out, it will be too late for deception. All right, I think that makes some sense. Somehow these are the people that would normally report where the damage hit. And Jonathan's saying they have to get to them, give them the fake information they want released, because if we don't get an answer soon about this plan, it'll be too late. They'll already report the real damage. I think John says fake news reports. I wonder if these aren't spies. I wonder if they're not saying that our 3 planted German double agents that normally report back to Germany have been asked to report back to the Germans, their German agents, where the damage was. And he's saying, if we don't tell our planted fake German agents, our double agents, if we don't tell them what to tell their runners in Germany, it's going to be too late. They're going to have to report the truth. They're going to have to say something. So I think these may be the names of German spies working for the Allies who report to the Germans. These might be real code names, really in use, but Garbo, Brutus, and Tate. So that's how I would kind of read it. That they're people working for the Allies that the Germans think are German agents. They're double agents, really working for us. And he's saying, we've heard from our agents that the German masters want to be told where the rockets are hitting the damage. And he's saying, if we don't feed them the information we want, it's gonna be too late. They're gonna have to report it. And thinks that I'm right, but okay, good teamwork there, figuring that out. Okay. Well, this has been a very fun box today with a bunch of stuff being revealed, and we finally got our real suspect list. And all of the names we've been listing that would get crossed off now suddenly comes into play. We had to wait a long time for that. But it is fascinating to see a game where it's taken so long to be able to put information to use. You're used to a single cold case box where you see a paper with some information, you can put it to use. Here we had to wait a long time before we got to use this information. But boy, Carl and Amelia, that's scary. Okay, let's check in with the chat, but we're going to wrap this up soon. Cody Matson says definitely double agents. And it says, looks like the War Cabinet didn't give the green light to report the fake news. And it says, agree, this was a good session. Things are picking up pace. First 3 boxes were a snooze. Perry says, very good session. Okay, so it does feel like also one thing that's nice is we have tied some bows on a bunch of messages that we were on shaky ground. The Krauss and Kruger and all that. We still have questions about Carl, though. And we got this little teaser about something that happened with Carl. We think we know what happened. He came into the brothel and the two saw each other. Remember, it's all top secret. They couldn't tell each other what they were working on, so it would have been a big shock when they saw each other. Something happened. But it didn't look like it disturbed the plans, so... And then we got the teaser that we're going to get another diary from 1944, which is very exciting. But remember, we don't know what happened to Lizzie. Remember, she was reported dead in the first box. What was the date on that? So she's reported dead March 1945. So we really do not know what that is all about. We don't know if our spy is different from our killer. We suspect so, but maybe that's due to a Russian message mistranslation. Very interesting. Okay. Now we need to decide if we're going to play again tomorrow or take a break. I mean, this is a reasonable place to stop for a bit because it feels like this is like Act 2. We've reached Act 1, the end of Act 1. We've tied up lots of loose ends. Perry says, I vote for a break. Okay, we're going to take a break. We're not going to meet again tomorrow. We're going to have off tomorrow. Sunday, there'll be the play-by-mail session. And then we'll start scheduling our next playthrough next week. If you are particularly interested in joining us live for the next set of sessions, what have we got? Box 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 5 more boxes left. Then stop by the Board Game Geek Guild for this channel. There's a link on the About page or the Discord, and we'll start figuring out if there's anyone who's been joining us this whole time that can't make it. Otherwise, we'll probably start playing again on Monday, but we could always push that back a day and start Wednesday or whatever we want. But stay tuned to the channel, subscribe, get your notifications so you find out as soon as it's decided. Good session, good teamwork. We've got a very good team now. Nothing's sneaking by us so far. I feel like we've got this in hand. All right, I'll see you on the next session.